Simpson not available for Tad Boyle and the Buffaloes in this tournament.
Didn't play in the regular season finale against Utah. Game Colorado won. Hammond and Clifford both stepped up in that one.
On the other side for Washington, Jamal Bay has really been playing well here toward the end of the year. And Keon Brooks, second team All Pac-12.
Well, let's see which team can settle into this game. Both teams at times struggled with turnovers. So when you're sped up because it's an electric atmosphere in here, it leads to turnovers. So which team can settle into this game and execute will get off to the better start.
Huskies control the opening tip, and we mentioned the non-COVID illness keeping KJ Simpson out of this. Washington, Noah Williams did not make the trip for the Huskies. He's been dealing with a knee injury the majority of the season. As Keon Menefield way off on the three, and Colorado grabs the rebound. Also, P.J. Fuller not with the team as well.
Colorado man-to-man, interestingly enough, in their regular season finale we were just talking about, played almost exclusively zone against Utah, which is a rarity for Tad Boyle. So we may see some more of that zone here this afternoon out of Colorado.
Tristan De Silva gets the scoring going with a three, and Colorado with the game's first point.
I mentioned it in our open. He is a matchup nightmare. You put a small on him, he goes down in the paint. You put a big on him, he's out there at the three-point line. Gets Colorado off to a good start here with that three.
De Silva sixth in the Pac-12 in scoring. First team all-conference for Tristan De Silva. Here's Keon Brooks, the Kentucky transfer. 5 to shoot for UW.
Luke O'Brien taking the challenge one-on-one against Brooks. He's a tough cover because of his ability to score at all three levels. But again, I said this in the open as well. Brooks, one of the best in our league at getting to the foul line and manufacturing points. You have to be able to stay in front of him and guard him without putting him on the foul line. Where do you attack this Washington zone? Usually the foul lines. And I expect to see De Silva at that foul line a lot. See if Washington can take him away at that foul line area.
Inside to Braxton Mia, poked away by Lawson Lovering. And it stays with Washington as the Huskies have dropped their last two coming in after a 3-game winning streak, and they had that track meet as Mike Hopkins' team fell last Thursday in the regular season finale at home to Washington State, 93-84.
The improvement of Braxton Mia from the start of the year till now is affecting the game way more, especially on the defensive end with his rim presence and paint presence, and is giving him some production on the offensive end as well.
Drop off to Luke O'Brien, 5-0 Buffs.
Well, without KJ Simpson, who becomes the primary ball handler, the primary playmaker, Hammond's going to have the ball in his hands probably the most. Good play in transition there.
Washington won both meetings this year between these two teams. And early December in Seattle is Keon Brooks coming up short, and Colorado comes away with it.
Good contest. Lawson Lovering there on that back line for Colorado, one of the best shot blockers in the league.
Rebound tipped out to Keon Menefield, but the Huskies then also won in Boulder in the middle of January. Washington shot 50% or better in both matchups this year as Cole Bajema, who's been struggling recently for the Huskies, gets the dogs on the board.
Good find by Menefield. Good cut by Bajema. I really like this Keon Menefield, man. He is small in stature, but he ain't afraid. And the game is really easy to him. You watch him play, everything's smooth, nothing forced. It really has come on here at the end of the season.
He is so fun to watch, Don, with how quick he is, and with the basketball, you just have to perk up every time he's got it.
It's just easy. That's the thing that comes to mind when I watch him. This game is just easy for him. And that you don't say that a lot with smaller guys.
Wild shot for Braxton Mia, who wanted a call. Vern Harris, D.G. Nelson, Mike Littlewood, our officiating crew, with Michael Irving as the standby.
That's one of those turnovers that I mentioned both teams have struggled with this year. Unforced errors, trying to force it down the court in transition and turn it over. Really didn't have anything to do with the defense, just not great decision-making on the fast break.
Colorado attacks. Nick Clifford slithers in, and Jamal Bay the rebound for Washington. You get a sense that some nervousness on both sides.
That's why I said it right off the top. Which team can settle in, get rid of those nerves, and settle into the game?
Cole Cole Bajema rims out a three.
One thing we see every year, Roxy, you and I have been doing this tournament for a long time, is somebody emerges, and maybe an unlikely guy emerges for any team in this tournament. Fascinated to see who it is this year.
Clifford the miss. Lawson Lovering on a putback.
Doesn't score a lot for this Colorado team, Lovering, but again, his defensive presence, only 4 points a game. But you have to be excited if you're a Colorado fan looking ahead to next year, and hopefully the offseason Lovering has can become even more of a factor next year for Colorado.
In the recruiting class that Jack Boyle has coming in, with one of the prime recruits in the country coming to Boulder, is Jamal Bay. Too strong on a three, and Lawson Lovering clears.
Long stretch here without a break. See it testing both teams' conditioning level. Going 5 straight minutes without a stoppage. Cut.
Down the lane, Luke O'Brien, 9-2 Buffs.
It turns out, Roxy, if you move and cut hard without the ball, you might score. Seen it twice. Bajema for Washington, that time O'Brien for Colorado.
It's funny because teams fall in to laziness when they play a zone, don't move as much, but we're seeing Colorado attack it.
Try and beat it with the dribble always and make a play, but you can move without it, get yourself easy ones.
Braxton Mia turns middle. And the rebound, Nick Clifford, is Washington 1 for 9 to start the game.
I think both teams need a timeout here to kind of regroup, reset. I haven't seen a stretch like this all year where it's gone 6 minutes almost with no stop.
Intercepted by Keon Brooks.
Thought Minifield should have attacked there. He had a one-on-one, no one else back.
Leads Jamal Bay, reverse lane, and a pretty feed for Minifield.
Another cut. Moving without the ball. Bay that time, easy layup.
Senior from right here in Las Vegas, Bay now 15 points away from 1,000 for his UW career. Is Tristan De Silva, that soft spot in the zone.
But another moving without the ball. He relocated to that middle of the paint. Hammond found him, easy little 10-footer.
Menifield on a step back and a foul. Finally, we get a whistle, and it's a hold on Lawson Lovering of Colorado.
Your conditioning level, Roxy, I don't think you could do the whole 6.5 minutes.
Should have spent more time on the treadmill.
Me too.
Good start for Colorado to get the day going in Vegas.
You came in after work, it's the only time you can. Savory steak and bacon, grilled cheese, sounds like a great plan. Wow, kids online are really mean. Sonic steak and bacon, grilled cheese.
Sonic. Some people say the metaverse will only be virtual. But firefighters entering a burning house will one day save time when lives are on the line. Visualizing a patient's most recent scan will help speed up decision-making in the ER. And while the woolly mammoth is still extinct, that doesn't mean students can't take field trips to visit them. The metaverse may be virtual, but the impact will be real.
Gatorade Fit. Fitness starts from the inside out. Get healthy, real hydration. And no added sugar, artificial sweeteners, or added colors. Gatorade Fit. Healthy, real hydration today helps you fuel tomorrow.
When Wingstop made a chicken sandwich, you know they wouldn't make just one. Now you can have 12 new sauce and toss favorites, like lemon pepper, mango habanero, and OG hot. So try the new chicken sandwich at Wingstop, where flavor gets its wings.
Buffs off to a good start. Colorado leads Washington. The 8-9 game, 11-4. The 9 seed leads the 8 right now. Threes for Equality is back for year 3 at this year's Pac-12 men's basketball tournament and the women's tournament as well. Pacific Premier Bank has increased their donation to $150 for every made three-pointer to the United Negro College Fund. And the National Urban League throughout both the women's and men's tournaments. Already, 18,000 have been raised, and we've got a 3 already in this game, courtesy of Tristan De Silva.
And I'll tell you what, I bet our next game is going to make a big donation. Washington State takes the most threes and makes the most threes in our league. And the hottest team in the league coming into this tournament aside from UCLA.
Let's send it over to Jordan.
Yeah, guys, I was listening into the Colorado huddle, and Tad Boyle said they just need to be a little bit more careful with the passes, let the offense develop on the offensive end. But how about this stat? Prior to this game, Tad Boyle said the key to beating this Washington zone is getting the ball into De Silva in the paint. On half-court possessions, where they get the ball to De Silva, they're 3 for 3 with 7 points. On possessions they don't, 0 for 5 with 1 turnover. So an interesting trend already in this one.
Yeah, De Silva 2 for 2, 1 for 1 from behind the three-point line. If Colorado's going to win this game, De Silva's got to be a major factor for them.
Jamal Bay steps in and rattles it in. Second bucket for Bay, is playing in his 150th career game, the all-time games played leader in Husky history.
I think now that we've had a timeout, I think you'll see teams settle in and make some more shots here. Bay,
whistle off the ball against the Huskies.
Bay knocks down that mid-range for Washington.
Fallon Corin Johnson, the freshman from Seattle for the Huskies. Johnson in off the bench for Mike Hopkins, while the 2 grad transfers check in for Colorado. Ethan Wright from Princeton and Jalen Gavidon from Yale.
See, De Silva starts in that dunker position in the short corners and then relocates middle. Now he becomes a playmaker, either looking for his own or trying to get others involved.
Gavidon rips it away, and a tie-up, and that'll be a Colorado ball. The hustle from Jalen Gavidon for Colorado.
Well, it's the postseason, so you see this typically. It's win or go home now, Roxy, and these guys don't want to go home, so you see maybe just a little more intensity and a little more effort than we do in the regular season.
Gavidon is a guy that's been there before. He's been to a couple of NCAA tournaments with Yale. And the grad transfer pursuing his master's in engineering management after graduating from Yale in computer science. So he's a smart dude.
Yeah, I think he's going to be all right in this game alive as Ethan Wright knocks down the 3 for Colorado. They're executing really well against the Washington zone here early.
Ethan Wright, just 31% on his threes.
So what happens in this zone is basically Washington's zone wants to take away the three-point shot, right? So they push out. So that's why that foul line area is open, but they can adjust. Like Mike Hopkins can manipulate this zone to take away that free throw line area if a guy like De Silva's hurting him. So the counter for Colorado then becomes other guys are going to have to make threes if they're going to take away De Silva at the foul line area.
There is De Silva at the foul line, and the pass for Lovering picked off by Keon Brooks. Brooks attacks and in transition before going up with a shot. And a foul against Colorado.
What Brooks does that not a lot of college players do is looks for contact, gets the contact. That's why he shoots so many free throws and the ability to manufacture points like he does.
14-6, the Buffs, the upper hand on Washington in game 1.
Diabetes can serve up a lot of questions, like what is your glucose and can you have more carbs? Before you decide, with the Freestyle Libre 2 system, know your glucose level and where it's headed, no finger sticks needed. Manage your diabetes with more confidence and lower your A1C. The #1 doctor-prescribed CGM, Freestyle Libre 2. Try it for free at freestylelibre.us.
Double shredded beef tostada from El Pollo Loco. As we celebrate women's history, the Pac-12 Conference recognizes women who have contributed to the successes of so many. To the student athletes, coaches, administrators, professors, academic leaders, and trailblazers who have made a difference, we thank you. May women's history, equality and opportunity, education, achievements, courage, strength, and leadership be championed every day. Champion her. Pac-12 Conference.
You'll flip over the 2023 Pac-12 Women's Gymnastics Championships, March 18th at the Maverick Center in West Valley City, Utah. Join the action as 8 elite Pac-12 gymnastics teams compete to win the 2023 championship. Medalists from the Tokyo Olympics showcase their winning moves. Get tickets now to experience all the excitement of Pac-12 gymnastics and fun for the entire family. Visit pac-12.com/tickets.
Pac-12 Our Stories takes you behind the curtain. Watch the latest episode anytime on Pac-12 Now, presented by Chime.
Pac-12 basketball tournament presented by New York Life. And here's what Colorado is missing. And so in the absence of KJ Simpson, Don, second team all Pac-12, out with a non-COVID illness. Where does Colorado turn as far as, look, you're not going to get the production from one guy, but what can Colorado do?
Well, it's clear that Julian Hammond's kind of his backup and that the ball's going to be in his hands. We talked about that earlier, but I just feel bad for Simpson. These kids all want to play in the postseason, right? And for him to have the season he had in the conversation for most improved player all year and then not get to finish the regular season and then not to be here, get to play here in the Pac-12 tournament, just unfortunate for him and this Colorado team.
Colorado also without Javon Ruffin and Javon Hadley because of injuries. As Keon Brooks left open in the corner, the Huskies sorely needed that one.
That's one area of his game where he's going to have to improve to play at the next level. He can really score it, but to play in the league, you have to be able to make threes. He doesn't shoot a lot of them percentage-wise, or he doesn't shoot a lot of them, but 29% on the season. That's going to have to improve. He's going to have to prove to the NBA people that he can make three-point shots consistently.
Jalen Gavidon on the floor again, diving for the loose ball, and he's tied up with Corin Johnson. Washington ball, but clearly the impact, Gavidon off the bench, is everywhere for Tad Boyle.
It's been in the game, 3 minutes? He's already been on the floor twice, tying up loose balls.
Quincy Allen in the game for Colorado, the redshirt freshman from Silver Spring, Maryland, the former DC Gatorade Player of the Year.
Looking to ISO Brooks on that post. Let's see if they bring a secondary defender.
There's the foul on Jalen Gavidon.
It looked like Colorado was going to come with the double on the low side to get it out of his hands. I thought Brooks got rid of it a hair too early. I don't think the second defender was coming all the way. He could have made a play quickly before that second defender got there.
Then to shoot for Cole Badgema. Jamal Bay gets Quincy Allen in the air. And there's the fifth-year senior taking advantage of the redshirt freshman. We'll get to the line.
I was just thinking that the veteran Bay using that ball fake to get Allen up in the air, get himself too fried. That's all he wanted was free throws. He knew it was late clock. He knew if he didn't get fouled, it was probably going to be a tough shot. So let's get him up in the air, get the contact, and go to the foul line.
79% for Jamal Bay. Of course, as many of you probably know, his cousin Tyler was a former standout for Tad Boyle at Colorado. Jamal Bay, the former Nevada Gatorade Player of the Year, is in the starting lineup and out of it, is now started 6 straight to end the season here and trying to keep it going for Washington.
He's played well. You know, his percentages have dipped from what they were last season and the year before. But still a valuable piece for Mike Hopkins because of his experience, having been here before.
Last couple of games heading into the Pac-12 tournament, averaged 19 on 6 of 9 outside the arc. Another example of that senior when they see the light on the end of the tunnel.
Yep, that's the other thing we talk about. Not only the big performances here in Vegas, but the senior that sees that it's coming to an end and they turn it up.
And a foul on the drive, and that is on Washington and Cole Badgema. And we've seen that around the conference. You look at, for example, coming up next, Joel Brown has played that way for Cal. there's a number of guys that down the stretch.
How about the player of the year? Jaquez has ratcheted it up over the last month.
20 or more in 6 of the last 7 games for Jaime Jaquez.
See, with De Silva out of the game, there's nobody flashing middle. Makes it a lot more difficult.
Jalen Cabadon follows up the deflection.
He's had a major impact since he's gotten in the game. First bucket, but really seems to be everywhere out on the court.
Returned against Utah last Saturday, was in concussion protocol that kept him out of the previous 2 games. The back tap from Langston Wilson. Open is Keon Menafield. In and out, and there's Quincy Allen clearing it for the Buffs.
Menafield's got to get it going from behind the 3. They count on his production. I think that's his 3rd miss so far from behind the 3-point line.
Here he comes. Colorado back, though, in transition.
Menafield 35% on the year from 3-point line.
Off balance in the key. Cole Bajema the miss, and the Buffs break out with it.
We got numbers.
Quincy Allen.
Shouldn't have taken the dribble. That should have just been lighted. Catch and shoot. You don't need the dribble. What happens when you take the dribble is your eyes go down to dribble.
In and out from Jamal Bay as the Huskies now 1 for 9 from 3.
So when you take that dribble like Allen did, if you take your eyes off the target, it becomes harder to pick the target back up. Typically, guys will miss that shot because of the dribble instead of just catching and shooting.
Gabadon to the basket. Had a good look, and Jamal Bay rips it down for the Dogs. Where are the Huskies going to get the offense from? They're just 4 for 17 from the field.
10 points with 8.5 to go in the first half.
Langston Wilson inside.
And they're getting decent looks, Roxy. It's not like they're, everything's contested. They just aren't shooting a high percentage here in the first 12 minutes.
Quincy Allen launching from the corner. And the rebound, Luke O'Brien hustling.
He's a good rebounder for his size. He really affects both boards.
Ethan Wright. Quincy Allen tried to follow slam, and Washington comes away with it.
He tried to dunk it. If he had just tipped it in, like tipped it up, he probably would have made that. But he tried to turn it over, and he hit the rim, and it didn't go in.
Jamal Bay has made 2 shots. The rest of the Huskies have made 2 shots.
If you're a Washington fan, you have to be excited. Not that we're looking to next year already, but Horn Johnson and Menafield next year, your starting backcourt.
That'll be a shot clock violation. No, they won't, because Colorado grabbed the rebound. But the struggles for the Huskies in the offensive end continue.
But Colorado, too, here of late, Roxy, because De Silva hasn't been in there. They got nobody at the foul line that can facilitate.
Jalen Gabadon missing on the reverse. Here comes UW, but Keon Menafield's 1-on-3 will slow it up. Offensive foul, Jamal Bay, the charge. First on Bay. The Huskies really struggling to get going here in Vegas. 16-10. Colorado leads UW in game 1.
Every March, Jersey Mike's turns money from subs into charitable donations.
And March 29th is Jersey Mike's annual day of giving, where 100% of sales are donated to local charities.
And to kick off all that giving, Peter gave me an apron. I'm honored.
Looking good, Danny. We've got subs to make, though.
Yeah. Now I know why you gave me the apron.
Yeah.
Join us Wednesday, March 29th for Jersey Mike's Day of Giving. Be a sub above.
Do 2 W-2s make a W-4?
Are you kidding? Hi, I'm April. I'm here to help. I know tax season can be a little messy. That's where filing with TaxAct can make all the difference. And with TaxAct, you get your maximum refund. Oh, looks like you're really cleaned up. Switch to TaxAct and start for free.
College towns set the stage for some of the best years of our lives. So shouldn't a visit to an alma mater give that feeling of reliving our glory days? Graduate is a collection of hotels in the most dynamic college towns. It's unexpected, imaginative, handcrafted. Graduate is a remix of each community. Every hotel as unique as the college town it calls home. Moments matter to us. Choose a Graduate hotel and make every visit feel like a homecoming.
One shining moment can cement their legacy, but only one team can take home the hardware. Who will rise to the top? The 2023 Pac-12 Men's Basketball Tournament, presented by New York Life. Live coverage continues next.
Well, Don, you mentioned seniors stepping up toward the end of the season. Nobody did it more than Jaime Jaquez, who was the Pac-12 Player of the Year. 20 or more points for Jaquez in 6 of the final 7 games heading into Vegas.
Well, we've never seen this before where it looked like one guy, Azuolas Tubelis, was Player of the Year the entire year with the numbers. He was 20 and 10. He was coming off a 40-point game. And it just looked like his numbers were going to be overwhelming. And then he dipped a little bit, and Jaquez really came on the last month and basically took the award from Tubelis. Not taking anything away from Tubelis' year, but Jaquez just stepped up and dominated down the stretch, and UCLA won the regular season title.
You were joking yesterday. It's the first time you've ever had to rescind anything.
Right. I gave it to Tubelis after that 40-point game. I just thought they would stay tight with UCLA all the way till the end, which kind of didn't happen. UCLA won the regular season title by 3 games in the loss column. So Jaquez was magnificent down the home stretch of the regular season, and they're going to need him even more now in this tournament and looking ahead to the NCAA tournament.
UCLA will play the winner tomorrow at noon in the quarterfinals to begin day 2.
See, look how when De Silva's in there, that Washington zone just collapses around him.
Last touch by Nick Clifford, Huskies ball.
Because De Silva's more of a threat than Quincy Allen or anybody else they put in that position. He gets the attention of that Washington zone. So he becomes that facilitator. Look opposite, look to the other side, and get your teammates open threes.
Huskies in a drought of over 4 minutes, but the Buffs haven't scored in over 3. And Washington's missed their last 6 shots.
Washington's got to get Brooks going here. Only 3 points here in the first 14 minutes.
Cole Badger with 5 to shoot. Tough fadeaway challenged by Ethan Wright. Colorado pulls it down. Julian Hammond brings it across.
What's interesting, we talk about the Colorado gold standard, and that is hold the opposition under 40 and then win the backboard by more than 8. They're in that position right now, but interestingly enough, only up 6. You would think with the percentages Washington shooting that they'd be up even more.
A step back from Tristan De Silva.
Tough shot. Brooks draped all over him, fade away from about 15. Not an easy shot. He gets it to go down.
7 for De Silva, and the Buffs have matched their largest lead. It's approaching 5.5 minutes to go in the first half.
You see Washington with more player movement. You know, they had a couple early with Bay and Badgemo where they back cut behind the defense and got easy ones. They need more of that.
Nate Clifford hounding Keon Brooks.
It's so hard.
And a travel called on Brooks is Julian Hammond helping out, forcing the turnover.
Like Brooks is a terrific offensive player. Let's go back to last position. Brooks is holding his jersey. So De Silva pushes off. So let's call that a net. And then De Silva with the tough fadeaway. But Brooks has to understand, like, everyone knows he's a good ISO player. So when he starts to put it down, the help defenders are going to be there for Colorado. He traveled on that last possession. That's why I'm saying he's got to move without it, and he'll get easier looks.
Nick Clifford gets the flyby. And the rebound, Jamal Bay secures it for the Huskies.
Open look, just didn't knock it down, but set up by De Silva.
Wild shot from Bay, pulled down Ethan Wright. Colorado runs. Julian Hammond trying to drop it off. Too fancy that time for Ethan Wright.
Yeah, for a team that has struggled at times this year with turnovers, not a great decision by Hammond here. This is go into the defender and get the contact and at minimum get to the foul line.
UW over 6 minutes without points.
Shaking his head.
He's got to be happy with his defense, though.
He really does. But again, when you've been a team that has struggled with turnovers this year, decisions like that just drive a coach crazy. Behind the back in transition and throw it out of bounds.
Speaking of turnovers, it's right back to the Buffs. Julian Hammond sidesteps the defender and one for Hammond.
Nice play by Hammond on the Euro. Gets that extra step, covers more ground with that big step, gets all the way around the defense and finishes. Yeah, it's a Euro step +1 on this. 1, 2, 3. Got away with one there, but still a good play. If they don't see it and don't call it, it's a good play.
So without KJ Simpson, I'm not going to say there's a new sheriff in town and his name is Julian Hammond.
No, he's played well here in the first half. Is that like a reverse let's move on, Roxy? When they don't call it and it was something?
You're the innovator.
Yeah,
you
let's
have to
go.
lay down the law.
We have to find a better word than reverse, though. Something let's move on.
Largest lead for Colorado. I'd say it's a 7-0 run, but it's been over about 6 minutes. And finally, the drought ended for the Huskies from Keon Brooks.
See if that gets Brooks going here. Again, I said it earlier. He has to score for Washington to win. Just under 18 a game in the regular season. But give Colorado credit. You just said it, Roxy. Colorado's been up and into it and engaged defensively here this first 16.5 minutes.
21-12. Colorado leads Washington. Game 1 of the Pac-12 tournament in Las Vegas.
When you see Wendy's Square Hamburger, you know you're getting the best. Guess who else knows that? Reggie Miller.
I got 5 burgers coming up. Heard ya. Hamburgers, Willie. Hamburgers. Hamburgers. No. Okay.
When you want a hamburger worth celebrating,
Square's the beef.
We answered some questions on Angie. Contractors pop up on your screen.
You can read other people's experiences.
To me, Angie is a time saver.
I scheduled it right then and there.
Get started at Angie.com today.
You really have to be determined and have that athlete's mindset.
Every day coming in, doing what you got to do, giving 100%.
And you're certainly not going to win just on your ranking. You got to bring it.
You know, that's just really what separates being good from being great.
Let's go. Set your jaw. Time to go to work.
it is one of the most amazing scenes in all of college athletics.
It was a brilliant display of competitiveness, and that's what this play stands for.
The things that they battled through, and to come out here and have a dominating performance, it means something.
I love this. I want to go back to college.
Have we got a treat for you today?
This is a monster waiting to explode.
Why did I choose Safeway? I love my electric car. So when my windshield got cracked, I trusted the experts at Safelight. With their state-of-the-art technology, they replaced the windshield, recalibrated the car's camera, and then recycled my old glass. I found out Safelight recycles over 3 million windshields a year. Great job, thank you. Replace, recalibrate, recycle. I count on Safelight.
Safelight Repair, Safelight Replace.
World-famous crinkle cut fries.
Let's check in with our performance update presented by TaxAct, and we are looking at Tristan Da Silva, basketball 101. How do you beat a zone? Get it in the middle, force the defense to collapse. That's how a zone gets movement on defense. Pop out, hit the open three. And then right here, it's a simple decision when you catch it in the paint. If the zone collapses, kick it out. If not, I've got a little jumper right there. And then sometimes you just have to beat a man one-on-one. Da Silva using the shoulder, the step back, silky smooth. He's got 7 points. Leading scorer for Colorado, who defensively has done an excellent job keeping the clamps on Washington guys. And right now with Da Silva getting these buckets, you imagine it makes it really hard for Washington to get back into this one.
Yeah, Da Silva only a junior, so we'll be back next year. And the jump he made this year, can he make another jump next year? for this Colorado team, who, again, we're not talking about next year yet, but you mentioned the recruiting class. This Colorado team's got a lot coming back, a lot coming in. They're going to be really good next year.
And the second De Silva to be named first team All Pac-12.
That's right.
Of course, older brother Oscar played for the Cardinal. 5 to shoot. Here is De Silva.
Moving without it. Starts at the top, De Silva. You can see his gait. He's still limping a little bit on that ankle he hurt last week or the week before, but still really effective. Started at the three-point line, cut to the mid-post area, and a little floater game off the window for him.
Foul off the ball. It's the second on Jalen Gabadon. When he injured that ankle against UCLA, I was convinced that looked pretty severe and he was maybe done for the year, and sure enough he returned the next game against Utah.
Well, and came off the bench against Utah because of the ankle, and now you can tell he is not 100%, but still really affecting this game.
And a whistle and a foul. They're getting a foul on Washington going for the loose ball. It's the second on Jamal Bay.
Good box out by De Silva there, keeping Bay off, and Bay was trying to fight him. Let's take a look at it. I mean, that hand's on his back.
Yeah. That's pretty obvious for Vern Harris.
Yeah, I think that's tough.
One of the best officials in college basketball.
So now Mia steps up and meets De Silva, so there's no flip game there, so he's got to give it up. But De Silva's still moving without it.
Gets the flyby. Off 1 foot, the floater.
The one-legger.
The rebound tipped out to De Silva on the reload. Deep three, Julian Hammond.
Best time to shoot a three is after an offensive rebound. Hammond knocks it down.
Largest lead for Colorado. And Mike Littlewood giving a 30-second timeout as Mike Hopkins and the Huskies really struggling here in Las Vegas. Now this from Chime.
You deserve a better credit score. Chime's here to help. Just use the card with on-time payments. You'll be happy where it can take you. Whoa. Whoa. Get started at Chime.com.
So over the last 7.5 minutes, Colorado's outscored Washington 12-2. I can't call it a run, Don.
No, in Washington with only 12 points, we got 2.5 to go in this first half. They're going to have to figure out how to manufacture some points in the second half. They're going to get back in this.
Coming up on our principal halftime report, Ashley Adamson, Matt Mule.
Ernie was fired up this morning, I'll tell you that. I don't know if he's still fired up.
Ernie put me in my place this morning.
As well he should.
Not hard to do. Foul against Luke O'Brien of Colorado.
Important 2-12 or 2-17 here for both teams. Can Colorado sustain this and go in with huge momentum, or can Washington potentially get this under 10 and feel good about starting the second half?
And a foul will send Corin Johnson to the line, and the Huskies trying to get some traction here toward the end of the half and could use a momentum boost and find some semblance of a rhythm.
I feel like, and I mentioned it with Menafield earlier in the half, I feel like Washington's not being aggressive enough. Like Brooks is trying to ISO and get stuff done, but there's too many Colorado defenders there. They have to be more aggressive in terms of their cuts, and then you get it side, top, side, then you can attack off the bounce. But they're just trying to attack early in the clock with no ball movement, no player movement. It becomes really difficult, obviously. Only the 13 points.
66%er Corin Johnson, double figures in 3 of the last 4 games coming into the tournament. So the freshman finishing the season strong and trying to get it going here in this one. And now the Huskies extend full court.
This is new for Washington. Kind of mid-season they started doing this, but they only do it off of makes. They just haven't made it enough to set up the press.
Open for 3. Rattles out for Ethan Wright. But an offensive rebound, Nick Clifford pulls it out.
Colorado's such a good offensive rebounding team, and that was the keys for Washington coming into this one. Keep Colorado off the offensive board and don't turn it over. And turned it over a ton.
Washington out of the zone. They're in a man now.
Right.
Neat Clifford. And an offensive rebound. Julian Hammond can't get the putback. And Cole Bajma clears it for the Huskies.
There has been a ton, both ways, of point-blank misses. It's a good sign of how you can tell it's the postseason.
Braxton Mia, the follow slam for the 7-footer for UW.
Well, Braxton Mia looks the part. He is big and strong
and long,
and just developing. And I mentioned his improvement as the season's gone along. Important offseason for him this coming offseason. He can come back and be as dominant on the offensive end as he was at times on the defensive end this year.
And he was supposed to share the load with Frank Kepnong inside, but of course Kepnong out for the year with the knee injury as the Buffs go right inside to go back up 12, and it's Luke O'Brien.
But Mia really took advantage of all those extra minutes he got with Kepnang being out.
Corin Johnson will draw the foul. You also wonder with Mia, Don, if there's a little maybe too much tread gone on the tire because he's been overextended this year.
Oh, I don't think so. I think for him it's about staying on the court, understanding how valuable he could be, but a lot of foul trouble for Mia this year. Not being able to play bigger chunks of minutes because of the foul trouble. So that's another area for him looking to next year. Being smarter defensively and not committing fouls you don't need to commit. But he's a potential NBA player. I think he needs to go back. Like I said, have a great offseason, have a great season next year. Because NBA people are already talking about it. Like these guys you don't see all that often that are that big, that long, and that strong. Like his lower half is pretty strong for a guy that size.
An interesting story where he was at Fresno State for a couple of years. His parents are in the military, they're overseas, and so his guardian is the sister of Washington assistant Quincy Pondexter, as Braxton Mia hails from Fresno.
Well, and didn't play at Fresno, A, because he needed to develop, but B, he was playing behind Orlando Robinson, who's in the NBA now. And so, you know, you're probably not going to take his minutes. But Mia has a chance if we're talking about the next level. But it's up to him to do the work to get himself to becoming an NBA player.
For the Huskies this year, game over 500. And as Don pointed out at the top of the show, identical records for both CU and Washington, 16 and 15 overall, 8 and 12 in conference. And a couple of quad one wins, including a win over St. Mary's, as the Gales winning the WCC regular season. Of course, last night were blitzed by Gonzaga across town over at the Orleans.
Yeah, and Washington, like a few other teams in our league, just inconsistent this year. Guys in and out of the lineup, and just hard to string together a winning streak. Just never could. Would have a nice win and then follow it up and not win. So, but you look to next year for this Washington team, in the pieces that are back, you would expect them to be much better next year.
Here's O'Brien over Braxton Mia, and the rebound there is Mia on the glass, and the Huskies can play for the final shot here.
Did you see how Mia's present? Like, he didn't block that shot.
And he runs the floor and rams it home.
So Mia, that's why NBA people are taking notice of this Mia. Affected on one end, run, finish on the other.
So after trailing by as many as 14 late in the half, strong close in the first half, and Washington down 8. It's Colorado's defense, though, holding the Huskies to 27% shooting.
Yeah, but huge that Washington made that late run to get it under 10. The psychological impact of that, we'll see when the second half starts. But a good job by Washington staying with it and closing the gap. But
that high post area, let him do his thing. He's a really good player.
All right, thanks a lot, Coach.
Thank you.
Well, it's been a struggle for Washington. Let's give Colorado's defense a lot of credit, but hopefully what was talked about at halftime is Washington moving the ball. They did it a couple times, but like that doesn't work. You're not going to straight line drive through the Colorado defense. There's going to be multiple guys there, so you'd be better served to drive, kick, and then keep moving it. Get the ball from one side of the court to the other. That's when driving lanes open. Jamal Bay, 5 points in that first half. They need Keon Brooks to get going. He had 5 as well, but Brooks, one of the better scorers in the league. He's going to have a big second half. Washington's going to come back and win this one.
UW shot just 27% in the first half. And 1 for 10 on their threes as Jamal Bay with the takeaway. And a good defensive stop from Washington to start the second half.
Design play out of the sideline, out of bound. Baseline drive, baseline drip, but Bay stepped right in the middle of that passing lane.
Keon Menefield in the first points for the freshman, and Washington from 14 down in the first half within 5.
He, as well as Brooks, need to get going. He's a capable three-point shooter. 35% on the season. Maybe that'll get him going.
Tristan Da Silva spinning to the baseline. There's Braxton Mia off the tip, controlling, and here comes UW again.
Exactly how you wanted to start this half for Mike Hopkins. Make a shot and get a stop. Stop, score, stop. 2-possession game.
And a foul against Colorado. It's the first on Julian Hammond.
Ball fake, slide away. Creates enough space to let that three go and knocks it down.
Cole Bajema from deep. And Bajema hits a three.
Here we go. Washington. How's Colorado going to answer? Basically giving the lead up, only up 2. Like they were going to run away with this thing in the first half. Now they find themselves right in the game.
Nice high-low pass. Tristan Da Silva to Lawson Lovering.
Again, Da Silva not 100%, but he's affecting this game. Terrific delivery to Lovering down on the block.
Here's Bajema.
See, if I'm Bajema and Da Silva's guarding me, I'm attacking him every time. I'm going to make him move laterally on that ankle. See if we can't wear him down. He has to know that, Bajema. So it doesn't mean you got to drive to score it, but you got to drive and make Da Silva move. Again.
One more time, Da Silva to Lovering.
Washington's got to make the adjustment. That's 2 in a row. Way too easy. But again, I said it in the first half. You see the effect Da Silva has. Everybody collapses to him. That leaves other guys open. The last 2 possessions, it's been Lovering right near the basket.
There is the foul on Tristan Da Silva, number 2 on Da Silva.
That's what I'm saying. Da Silva gets a foul, and unselfish play by Da Silva. He probably could have shot that if he wanted. That was an either or. If he had shot that little flip 8-footer, nobody would have said anything, but an easier look for Lovering with the dunk.
Plus the degree of difficulty goes up on the shot with Braxton Mia
there. That's right.
Poked away by Da Silva. And then chased down by Bajema.
When you have a bad ankle like that, there's no explosion. Like, you can run, but when you try and explode and when you try and change directions, it's really difficult. He couldn't explode out of the pack to get out in front of the play that last time, Da Silva.
On the tie-up, it stays with Washington as Nick Clifford got his hands in there on Keon Brooks and tied him up.
But Da Silva's teammates need to understand that too, that there's no explosiveness there. We're not going to be leading them out in transition. See, look, he could have ran ahead that time, but just can't explode and get full speed.
Throws it right to Keon Brooks. And he rams it home, and Washington a great start to the second half.
Just more energy, more pop. You know, Mike Hopkins talked about going into the halftime that they were tentative, and they were. You could tell, and I said it right off the top, whichever team can settle in early, Colorado did, but I'll tell you what, Washington's settling into the second half early.
Tristan Da Silva had a mismatch.
All day. Inside pivot, create the space, go right over the top of the smaller Menefield. Correct decision, made the shot.
That looked like a young Don McClain.
It did.
That was your go-to right there.
Inside pivot. Guys front pivot, you go right into the defender, there's no space. Inside pivot, you create the space.
Ball Bay leans in and follows up the miss.
Tough play, but again, you're making it more difficult by just trying to straight line. Got to move it first.
And a foul on Keon Brooks near midcourt.
Keon Brooks is a sneaky jumper. Like, I don't know how many times this year I've done one of their games and you think he's just going to lay it up, and then all of a sudden he's tomahawking the thing.
Mike Hopkins was joking with him yesterday, a similar dunk during their shoot around here inside T-Mobile Arena. He goes, just like me back in my Cuse days. Yeah. And Keon Brooks just laughed and shook his head.
How many dunks did Mike Hopkins have at Syracuse, I wonder?
We got to get Greg Meraz on that one.
Yeah.
And a foul going up will send Colorado to the line. It's getting tight here in Las Vegas after the Buffs, led by as many as 14. The Huskies coming back.
Washington coming back, making some shots. We got a game here at T-Mobile to kick off this Pac-12 tournament.
You deserve a better credit score.
Whoa.
Chime can help no matter where you're at.
Whoa.
Because with everyday purchases and on-time payments,
Whoa.
things can happen a lot easier.
Whoa.
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 Whoa. Oh, you deserve some credit.
Whoa.
Get started at Chime.com.
Shake it up, it's salt and pepper. And this beat will last forever. Shake it up, shake it up.
I'm all in to vote because it's our civic duty and we live in a democratic society. So if you have an opportunity to vote and input your own thoughts into the way that our country is ran, then you may as well do it.
Everyone has an opinion, and no matter if it differs from mine or whoever else's, I think it's really important to vote.
Voting is important to me because it's essential that we all use the voice we've been given and the impact that we can have to make a difference in our communities, both locally and across the country.
It's important that we vote because if I believe in something and if you believe in something, you have to vote for the person that shares that common interest between us.
I think it's important to vote because we all need to take an active part in making our communities better. And I really believe you're either part of the solution or you're part of the problem. And I think voting allows you to try to be part of the solution.
One shining moment can cement their legacy. Who will rise to the top? The 2023 Pac-12 Men's Basketball Tournament, presented by New York Life.
The Pac-12 Men's Basketball Tournament is presented by New York Life. Over 12,000 agents there to help guide you through life's happiest and most difficult times. Jockey, the official apparel and comfort brand of the Pac-12 Conference. Look for Jockey's Made in America collection at jockey.com. And by Tax Act. File for less and get more. I'm looking at all these images, Don. I'm wondering, well, where's your residency going to be?
Hold on. How is it that I watched Donnie and Marie as a kid, and I look older than them? How is that possible?
They don't age.
Obviously not. I do. Wow.
Clearly, I do as well as we take a look at our brackets presented by
What would my
New
residency be? What would I do?
You tell me.
Well, I could conduct. I'm now a conductor. We saw that in the opener. Looking forward to the next one. You know, Cal's still playing. The record's not great. We've established that, but they play. They come to play every time. Washington State, 6-game winning streak, hottest team in the league besides UCLA. But
the Bears have arrived.
You just wonder if Washington State, can make a run here.
6 straight wins coming in.
5 seed. If they win today, they'll play Oregon tomorrow. If they win that, they'll get a crack at UCLA most likely. And interesting stuff, as always.
Julian Hammond at the line, but you didn't. Where's your residency going to be? Where can we put you?
Somewhere out in the desert, like with the cactus.
where Mr. Chow drops you off?
Yes.
Hammond hits Bull.
Back to a 6-point lead here for Colorado. Kind of stabilize this momentum Washington started this second half with. Washington can answer here again. 1-on-3, tough shot.
And one, Keon Brooks.
But I just don't think, Roxy, you're going to win this game with a steady diet of that. I know how talented a scorer Brooks is, but that is awfully difficult. Like, what percentage are you going to shoot attacking 3 defenders? You know, he got that one to go and got the hit, but I just feel like Washington, they have enough shooters that Brooks attack that, look for outlets to spray it out to.
3rd foul on Jalen Gabadon. And the Huskies have cut the lead in half. And Brooks, who's 3rd in the Pac-12 in scoring this year, just under 18 a game, now with 10.
Yeah, I was just going to say that, Roxy. That being said, they need his production, and they're getting it here early in the second half.
Foul first. Cole Badgema wanted the tie-up, but Mike Littlewood said, nope, you got him around the arm. And a foul committed by Washington, the second on Badgema.
Lovering's been wide open down there.
That's a clear foul. I'm not sure what Cole Badgema was trying to plead his case with.
Well, but at least Badgema, yeah, he gets the foul, but it didn't lead to another wide open, uncontested dunk for Lovering either.
5 on the shot clock. Tristan De Silva.
Gotta go.
Off balance, tough shot, and it deadens off the heel of the rim, and it goes for Tristan De Silva.
When you got it going, you got it going. And De Silva, that was a tough shot. Had to go, though. It was end of shot clock. Somehow it went in.
13 for De Silva. Cole Badgema blocked by Tristan De Silva. Broken up by Corin Johnson. And picked up Lawson Lovering. Jalen Gabadon.
Hammond should have kicked it to the right corner. De Silva was open. Spotted up.
Corin Johnson, a tough take, and finishes at the rim.
The game's starting to pick up a little bit here. Not as much of a half-court game. I'm not sure who that favors.
And a foul. They're getting it on Keon Menefield. Number 1 on Menefield.
Corin Johnson, tough finish. You know, I was talking about Brooks and how it's unusual for a college player. It's an NBA thing to go to contact, try and get contact so you can get to the foul line. That's a good example of a college player avoiding contact and try and make a difficult shot. Once you can get to that mentality of looking for contact, going through contact, is the minute you'll start scoring more because you'll find yourself at the foul line more.
Tristan De Silva missed everything, but on the follow, Ethan Wright along the baseline.
Braxton Mea's got to be more alert. You know, when you're a rebounder, you don't anticipate there being air balls, but sometimes it happens. But he didn't even react to the follow by Wright.
And a foul off the ball, and Corin Johnson took a shot. And they're going to go to the monitor here and see if it warrants anything more than a common foul against Colorado. And it's on Lawson Lovering, his second. I think we're going to get an upgrade here.
I do too. I thought it was on the initial. That's where Corin got hurt, but it wasn't. You know, wouldn't have been if it wasn't upstairs. You know, Lovering kind of throwing his arm off him's not the end of the world, but once you get up into that head area, it becomes a problem.
So they're at the monitor. Vern Harris, D.G. Nelson, Mike Littlewood, our crews. The official review brought to you by Chime. And again, the call on the floor was a common foul on Lovering, but that contact on to me seemed excessive, and that's why, for me, this looks more than a common foul.
I think it's an F1. Only because, like I said, it was in the head area, in the face.
If it's a flagrant 1, it'll be 2 shots for Washington, and the Huskies will get the ball. If it goes to a flagrant 2, if they determine there was intent there, that would knock Lawson Lovering out of the game.
Here was the intent. He was trying to wipe his arm off of him, Corin Johnson's arm. Unfortunately, the way he wiped the arm off, the follow-through was to the face area. I don't think there was, I would be shocked if this is an F2. And it would be wrong if it was an F2. But F1, I agree with.
13:36 to go. Coming up next will be Cal and Washington State, the 12-5 matchup. First round matchup number 2. And still to come tonight, Stanford, Utah, Arizona State, Oregon State. To wrap up day 1. Then, of course, you have the top 4 seeds already buys into the quarterfinals, waiting for today's winners. As we bring in Jordan Kent. All right, Don and I feel this deserves an upgrade. Jordan, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I don't think there was anything intentional. He's trying to get the arm off on the screen, but you know, a lot of times when there's contact to the face, the officials really want to make sure they have justice served in this situation so that the game doesn't get out of hand. So this will be a big call, and a couple of trends here, guys, as we wait for this call to come in. For Washington, you see that they're shooting the ball much better in the second half, 60%. Well, their magic number is 41%. They're 12-5 when they're shooting 41% or better in games, 4-10 when they're just shooting 40%. And in their 2 wins this season against Colorado, they went north of 50%. So we'll see if they can continue the hot shooting, because that's been the trend for them in these victories.
I just saw the reaction. The official went over and talked to Tad Boyle, and if it was an F2, I think Tad Boyle would have exploded, and he didn't. So I'm anticipating this is either a common foul or a flagrant 1.
They're still sorting it out. And they're going to bring both coaches to midcourt, Tad Boyle and Mike Hopkins.
Shouldn't take this long.
And Corey Johnson would be the shooter on the foul here. So D.G. Nelson explaining to us what we anticipated. Flagrant 1, 2 shots for Corey Johnson. The Huskies will get the ball.
Yeah, that's the right call. It's an unfortunate play. I don't think, you know, again, Lovering was trying to hit him in the face. He just unintentionally did by trying to sweep that arm off of him.
Corey Johnson now 6 for 6 from the line.
It's a big swing here. They make both free throws, which he did, and then score here 2 or 3. This could be a 5-point swing in a 1-possession game.
Washington now 8 for 9 from the line. The Huskies second in the Pac-12 as a team. 75% from the stripe this year. Inside to Braxton Mia, ripped away by Julian Hammond. They hang on, and the arrow goes to Colorado on the tie-up.
Great job by Hammond to come backside and screen roll. Brooks lobbed it to Mia. He was going to have an easy dunk, but Hammond got in there and ripped it out of there and got the held ball. Hammond's numbers aren't going to jump off the page here today, but like the primary ball handlers only turned it over 1 time. And then the stuff he's doing defensively.
Tristan De Silva off the window. And
Brooks got a piece of that too. You have to really appreciate De Silva playing. He ain't 100%. Like, his gait is wrong, running up and down the court, but still able to really be effective.
Cole Bajema, 3.
See, he's the key to me. I said it earlier, Roxy. He needs to make De Silva work and try and wear him down with that bad ankle.
And Bajema had been struggling down the stretch for about the last month, ever since he got suspended for that on-the-court issue at UCLA when he'd sit out the USC game. Cole Bajema hasn't been the same player. Ethan Wright. Luke O'Brien keeps it alive. O'Brien on a putback.
He's tough in there, man. I said it in the first half. On both boards, he really competes. That time gets an offensive rebound and the putback.
Former Colorado High School Player of the Year. Luke O'Brien inserted by Tad Boyle into the lineup down the stretch. The last 6 games he started. He's averaging just under 10 points a game since he went into the lineup.
It's that high ball screen again. Brooks refuses it.
Corin Johnson has 11, and the Dogs within 1.
Keon Brooks is doing what I was talking about. Be a facilitator. If you want to drive it, draw defenders and find open teammates. That time got Johnson in the corner.
Deflected out by Keon Mennefield. We have a 1-point game in Las Vegas. Colorado still clinging to the lead, but Washington hanging in there with the Buffs.
I've always loved building things. Not
not just structures and skyscrapers, but teams who make it all possible. After all, we wouldn't be where we are today without them. So we made sure that, like these buildings, their futures may also stand the test of time.
At Jersey Mike's, they freshly slice your sub right in front of you, which takes some training. Sliced right in front of you. It's a Jersey Mike's thing, a sub above.
College towns set the stage for some of the best years of our lives. So shouldn't a visit to an alma mater give that feeling of reliving our glory days? Graduate is a collection of hotels in the most dynamic college towns. It's unexpected, imaginative, handcrafted. Graduate is a remix of each community. Every hotel as unique as the college town it calls home. Moments matter to us. Choose a Graduate hotel and make every visit feel like a homecoming.
Gatorade Fit. Fitness starts from the inside out. Get healthy, real hydration. And no added sugar, artificial sweeteners, or added colors. Gatorade Fit. Healthy, real hydration today helps you fuel tomorrow.
Nonstop Life presented by Allegiant Air. And the Huskies have some life here in the second half.
Finally making some shots, 5 of 16 now from 3. That's allowed them to creep back into it. Just smarter offense. You know, moving the ball, getting it to shooters, making Colorado chase the shooters and close out, instead of trying to drive it through the teeth of the Colorado defense. Just better, smarter offense, which has led to easier shots, and they've knocked them down, cut into this lead.
Let's bring in Jordan. He was over near one of the huddles there during the timeout.
Yeah, you saw Tad Boyle marking up every single corner of that whiteboard. He was talking about trying to keep the ball out of the corners. That's where Washington's starting to have some success against their defense. And then anytime dribble penetration comes from the top, they want their help defenders on those shooters in the corner to stunt and then get that ball handler to spin into the double team. So an emphasis on double teams or anybody attacking them in the middle of the defense here, Don.
So, yeah, you stunt, which means you make the guy penetrating think you're coming over to double, but then you got to run back and close out as Hammond makes the little float game. But easier said than done, too. You know, like you got to give the appearance you're going to stop the dribble, but then get back attached to those corner shooters.
We have a double foul off the ball on both big guys wearing number 34. That's the first on Braxton Mia. Shockingly, considering all the foul trouble he's had this year, it's the third on Lovering.
Surprised we didn't get the old hook and hold there.
So on the double foul, they go to the arrow, and the arrow points to Washington. So the Huskies have made 4 of 6 in their threes in the second half after 1 for 10 in the first half. And Keon Brooks drives the bucket.
So there's the counter, right? Colorado's help isn't as committed. They're staying more attached to the corner shooters. What does that do? It opens up the lane for Brooks now. All this stuff goes hand in hand.
Knocked away, and Brooks was trying to go off to the races. And there's 5 on the shot clock as Washington never established possession. That's why there's no reset. It's funny thinking about what Jordan said there during the timeout, Don, where Tad Boyle's coaching the heck out of that whiteboard. Tad Boyle's the only coach to ever get hurt in a Pac-12 tournament game. Remember that with his calf?
Yeah. Well, I think Washington's offense now has energized their defense now that they're making some shots, and that happens for individuals and for teams. When things aren't going right on the offensive end, are you really giving maximum effort on the defensive end? Probably not. But when things start going better offensively, now you ramp up the intensity on the defensive end a little more.
UW looking for their first lead of the ball game. Keon Menefield darts in, tries a wild reverse, pulled down by Keon Brooks, but a foul. We're going the other way. Second on Keon Brooks.
A wild shot by Menefield. Got committed and just had nowhere to go, so he just flung it up there. And Brooks over the top of Lovering.
It was a big lead for Colorado early. It's gotten tight and competitive. Winner gets UCLA tomorrow in the first quarterfinal. 5 to shoot. Luke O'Brien backing down Cole Badgema, spinning, strip, and the Huskies come away with it.
Same thing I was talking about with Washington. Too many people down there.
Corin Johnson wills it up and in. First lead of the game for Washington.
Somehow kept his eyes on the target, got hit, was falling down, but got it to go in. Big time play for Johnson there.
13 for Corin Johnson off the bench. His career high is 15. And Menefield hacked. Julian Hammond will go to the line. Second on Keon Menefield.
Watch this play by Johnson. In transition, he's in attack mode. Kind of steps through. Really didn't get much contact, but stepped through, hung in the air, and finished that play.
Julian Hammond three at the line. 10 points for Hammond, the sophomore from Denver. And we are tied with 9:24 to go.
Hammond 82%er. I have a feeling, Roxy, free throw percentages are going to be a factor in this one.
Colorado this year has not been a good free throw shooting.
No, and they usually are.
Yeah.
They're usually one of the league leaders in free throw shooting every year, and this year surprisingly weren't.
A few years ago, they led the country in free throw shooting. Buffs reclaim the lead as Julian Hammond hits Mold.
Now Washington, or excuse me, Colorado now setting up a press after made free throws. The key is whether you're just doing this to make them use more shot clock to get it across to start their possession later in the shot clock, or are you really trying to turn up the heat and turn them over? But Colorado back into a zone too,
which Tad Boyle pretty much detests playing. But more out of necessity is Corin Johnson darting in his tie to career high. 15 for Johnson.
How good's that kid going to be next year? He and Menefield, man. Not going to be the biggest backcourt, but how explosive those two.
Quickness.
Yeah.
Nick Clifford short of the pull-up, but chased down his miss. And the kick out, Luke O'Brien.
See, Colorado's trying to do it on their own now a little bit too. Like they need to get back to giving it to De Silva, put it in his hands, and let him make plays. When they were going in the first half, all the offense was running through De Silva for the most part.
Julian Hammond weaving his way in, gets Braxton Mia in the air, and Keon Menefield blocks the shot. Luke O'Brien the reverse, and the Buffs.
O'Brien quicked him that time. Mia was right there ready to try and block it, but O'Brien went up so quick, almost surprised Mia. Before he could react, the ball's already up on the glass.
On the baseline, Menefield gets his own miss a second time and will get to the line. The smallest guy on the floor with 2 offensive rebounds.
I'll tell you why after the break, Roxy.
Good tease, Don.
Yeah, I'm good at teases. We got ourselves a game here. 1 point lead, Colorado under 8 to go.
Why did I choose Safeway? I love my electric car. So when my windshield got cracked, I trusted the experts at Safelight. With their state-of-the-art technology, they replaced the windshield, recalibrated the car's camera, and then recycled my old glass. I found out Safelight recycles over 3 million windshields a year. Great job, thank you. Replace, recalibrate, recycle. I count on Safelight.
Safelight repair, Safelight replace.
You really have to be determined and have that athlete's mindset. Every day coming in, doing what you got to do, giving 100%.
And you're certainly not going to win just on your ranking. You got to bring it.
You know, that's just really what separates being good from being great.
Let's go. Set your jaw. Time to go to work.
It is one of the most amazing scenes in all of college athletics.
It was a brilliant display of competitiveness, and that's what this place stands for.
The things that they battled through, and to come out here and have a dominating performance, it means something.
I love this. I want to go back to college.
Have we got a treat for you today?
This is a monster waiting to explode.
Nerds! So, how's it going? Oh, with interest rates up, I've been looking to get a better savings account, but... All the options have you up in the air? Well, yes. You know, at NerdWallet, we can help you make the smartest decision by comparing rates of top high-yield savings accounts. Oh, amazing. It's the smartest way to get the most out of your savings. Well, in that case, I'll have another coffee.
Oat, almond, regular?
Oh. Did you get it? It's because earlier she was up in the air and now she's down.
Okay.
I thought it was good.
NerdWallet, the smartest decision for all your financial decisions.
50-49 Colorado. Let's get back to Keon Menafield. And, you know, we've established he's smaller in stature but not afraid, and that's true. But why is he, or one of the reasons why he is effective is he has long arms. And a guy that I played with for a year that doesn't get talked about because of all the great, Allen Iverson had really long arms. So if you're smaller in stature, that's fine. But what really helps that is when you have longer arms. So that play we just showed, the block, but then the offensive rebound, the long arms allow them to make some of those plays that if he didn't have long arms, he probably wouldn't.
Two shots, Menafield, 71% for the freshman from Flint, Michigan.
I'm not saying he's Allen Iverson. I'm just saying that the smaller in stature guys with the long arms a lot of times get it done because of the long arms. Like Iverson's release point was way higher than you thought it would be based on how tall he was. All that floater game and all that stuff in the paint Iverson used to make was in large part because of his release point and his long arms would surprise defenders.
Let's bring in Jordan.
Yeah, interesting information from Washington's huddle. They noticed that Colorado, going with a little bit of a smaller lineup, they continue to put an emphasis on getting rebounding, as you see the bucket made right there by Wright. But they're going to try and find some mismatches and keep an eye out if Washington chooses to change their defense up here potentially.
We have seen him play some man today. As we know, Mike Hopkins' staple is the zone.
Yeah, with Colorado in zone now, so both teams mixing and matching their coverages.
Good box out. Nick Clifford claims the rebound for Colorado.
Listen, you get this deep in the season, everybody knows everyone. The more you can change defenses and give different looks, I think the better. Especially in like ball screen coverages.
Nick Clifford down the lane. First points of the game for Nick Clifford.
Well, get them spread out, and then you got driving lanes. No help recovered for UW. Clifford all the way to the rim.
And a timeout for Mike Hopkins and the Huskies as Colorado has opened up a 4-point lead. 6:43 to go, and Colorado trying to reassert themselves.
This one coming down to the wire, Roxy. Who's going to step up and make plays? Clifford to the rim. 4-point lead, Colorado.
Do 2 W2s make a W4?
Are you kidding? Hi, I'm April. I'm here to help. I know tax season can be a little messy. That's where filing with TaxAct can make all the difference. And with TaxAct, you get your maximum refund. Oh, looks like you're really cleaned up. Switch to TaxAct and start for free. TaxAct.
Hey, I'm going to get some snacks.
Okay.
Oh, please don't leave me again.
Gene, I said I was sorry.
You drove away and left me at the station for 3 hours.
I came back. Gene always comes back.
Yep. Okay.
That's what you should be focusing on. I came back.
Right.
Because we keep talking about me leaving. Let's start talking about me coming back.
Yep. Okay. Going to get some snack nuts. Don't drive away.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, I almost did it again.
Oh, I saw that.
I'll stay right here.
The double shredded beef tostada from El Pollo Loco.
And he runs the floor and rams it home. Deep three, Julian Hammond.
8 away from about 15. Tough shot.
And he rams it home, and Washington a great start to the second half. O'Brien on a putback. Colorado still clinging to the lead. The Mira Costa High School Jazz Band, the tunes.
Drink in that smooth jazz. It always goes down smooth.
Our MGM rewards, scoring leaders for this one, and Tristan De Silva 15 to lead Colorado, and Corin Johnson's tied a career high 15 for UW.
He's been big time in the second half. Corin Johnson. This is what we love about the postseason. Here we are, 4-point game, just under 7. Which player's going to step up and make plays? It's win or go home, remember.
Colorado without KJ Simpson is Colt Badgema. Third three for Badgema.
Design play out of the timeout to get him that corner three. Great play design, great execution by UW.
First time in over a month that Badgema's been in double digits.
There it is. De Silva's got it again. See what happens? I'm telling you. Didn't go in, but good look for Clifford in the corner.
Open on the reload. And a three for Julian Hammond.
The ball, the possession has to go through De Silva. They have to find a way to get it to him, and he'll make decisions either for himself or others. Good decision that time. As I said, Clifford just didn't make it.
Jamal Bay slices in, and he draws the foul. Bay will shoot a pair.
Reload, I said it in the first half. Best time to shoot a three is off an offensive rebound. Defense is scrambled and not set. Hammond knocks that one in. How good has he played today?
He's been great for Colorado. 15 points for Hammond.
Well, bigger than that, I think. I mean, yeah, you'll take the 15, but only one turnover. And he's been the primary ball handler all afternoon.
In the absence of KJ Simpson, as we send it over to Jordan.
If Colorado goes on to win this game here, guys, rebounding is going to be the area that you highlight. And the 2 wins for Washington this season, they were only out-rebounded by a total of 3. And that's a big deal because the Huskies are last in the conference in rebounding margin because they play so much zone. But today already, they're out-rebounded by 10 by Colorado, 14-7 on the offensive glass. That's a big reason why the Buffs hanging on to this 2-point lead.
And it may come down to that, Jordan. It may come down to if Colorado can dig out extra possessions on the offensive board coming down the home stretch.
Julian Hammond again for Colorado. One off a career high.
Stepping up in the postseason. He's called upon because their starting point guard's out, KJ Simpson, and he has responded in a big way here today, Julian Hammond.
Hammond, who had a career high 18 earlier this year against Washington. Braxton Mia, 5 on the timer. Keon Brooks finds Badgema in the corner. And a good look. And then a foul going for the rebound. And Vern Harris, yes, it's on 34, but which 34?
All right.
And they're going to go to the monitor to see if it warrants a hook and hold. It looks like it's on Lawson Lovering, his 4th. And if it is deemed a hook and hold, that gets upgraded to a flagrant 1 here with 5:05 to go, which would give Washington 2 shots and the ball.
But that would get Lovering out of the game, too. That would be his second F1 of the day. I can't tell who's hooking who. I mean, they made this rule because somebody got hurt in the NCAA tournament.
It was Purdue.
They got hurt, but this is basketball. You know, guys are jockeying for position down there. It's physical. I don't think it's worth all this going to the monitor and all this stuff. Just call it a foul.
For me, I see both guys kind of clutching each other. Now, there may have been an initial bump on Lovering, which I see, but
how about going? They did it earlier, Roxy. Just call it double foul. They did it earlier on a play. We've already had a long stoppage. We don't need another long stoppage for that play.
So our chime official review: Vern Harris on the right, D.G. Nelson on the left. As they sort this one out, coming up next, Cal against Washington State as the Cougars walking across the courtyard.
It's what we love about doing this tournament. We stay right across the street. You can walk here. All the teams walk here.
There's T.J. Bamba getting locked in.
How good's he playing?
One of the most improved players in the league. So Washington State, Cal coming up game 2 of our Pac-12 tournament. By the way, this is like the baseball crew in terms of the officials. As Mike Littlewood, the former head coach at BYU in the college ranks, and D.G. Nelson's the current head baseball coach at Salt Lake Community College. As I joke with them all the time, they're not bad for a couple of baseball guys.
Right. So if you're a baseball coach, you don't umpire, you referee basketball. So if you're a basketball player, do you go umpire baseball game? Or a basketball coach?
We're having some technical difficulties, so we'll be in the old school radio mode until we get our cameras back. And now it appears, actually, it looked like the foul was on Lovering, but they've called it on Mia. So Lovering will shoot,
but just a common foul.
Common foul. So Lovering sitting with the 3 fouls, and the 1-and-1 is only a 38% foul shooter. And Braxton Mia clears the miss on the front end, but they're getting a lane violation, and they'll give Lovering another chance. By the way, is the second foul on Mia. So front end again of a 1-and-1 for Lawson Lovering. And he gets that one.
You could probably call that lane violation on most free throw attempts. You know, he just gave Colorado points in a tight game.
Braxton Mia, the rebound. 5-point lead, 5 to go in Vegas. Colorado, the 9 seed, leading the 8 seed Huskies.
See where Washington goes on this play. De Silva's guarding Keon Brooks. Give it to him at the elbow. Go to work. Good defense, De Silva. Better offense.
Roll, 14 for Keon Brooks.
That was good defense, just better offense. I know I've said it a couple times, Roxy, but you got to give Tristan De Silva a ton of credit. He is not 100%, but he is giving it everything he's got.
Well, you know, his dad's a former professional boxer, so that may be where the toughness comes from. He battled through this. Here he is. And a turnover goes to Washington.
Can't have that. Unforced error trying to enter the block to O'Brien. Too tight of a game to have unforced errors.
Again, Keon Brooks going to work on De Silva. And an errant pass. Cole Badgerman was open. And some miscommunication between Keon Brooks and Cole Badgerman. Takes us to the under 4 timeout. Colorado 60, Washington 57. The winner advances to play UCLA in the quarters.
One shining moment can cement their legacy, but only one team can take home the hardware. Who will rise to the top? The 2023 Pac-12 Men's Basketball Tournament, presented by New York Life. Live coverage continues next.
Another health insurance commercial, another aqua aerobics scene.
Yep. Most health insurance companies see us all the same. Smiley seniors, golfing, hiking.
Don't forget antiquing.
That's why I chose Humana. They see me, not a stereotypical senior. I'm pre-diabetic, so I talked one-on-one with the Humana health educator who really helped me. Now I'm taking free cooking and meditation classes.
Not aqua aerobics.
Better care begins with listening. Humana, a more human way to health care.
College towns set the stage for some of the best years of our lives. So shouldn't a visit to an alma mater give that feeling of reliving our glory days? Graduate is a collection of hotels in the most dynamic college towns. It's unexpected, imaginative, handcrafted. Graduate is a remix of each community. Every hotel as unique as the college town it calls home. Moments matter to us. Choose a Graduate hotel and make every visit feel like a homecoming.
Some people say the metaverse will only be virtual. But firefighters entering a burning house will one day save time when lives are on the line. Visualizing a patient's most recent scan will help speed up decision-making in the ER. And while the woolly mammoth is still extinct, that doesn't mean students can't take field trips to visit them. The metaverse may be virtual, but the impact will be real.
Angie's List is losing the list. From now on, it's just Angie.
So what happens to all the people that needed the list?
Oh yeah, everything still works. We just made it better. We even let you book services instantly now.
Start your home project at Angie.com.
Pac-12 basketball tournament presented by New York Life. The guards contributing big in this one. Corin Johnson is tied at career high with 15 off the Huskies bench.
But what did we say early in the game, Roxy? Who's going to go above and beyond what we would expect? And it's been both Hammond and Corin Johnson. And so here we go. It's a one-possession game under 4 minutes. Are either of those two guys going to affect the outcome here in the last 4 minutes of this one? That's what I love about the postseason. You never know where it's going to come from. Yeah, a lot of the times it's the stars, but sometimes guys pop up that you weren't expecting and have big games.
Remember last year's 8-9 game when Arizona State had the huge lead with 3 minutes to go and Stanford went on a 16-1 run to win it? James Keith
with the winner, yep.
The unsung hero that you wouldn't expect.
That's right.
On the offensive end. And by the way, congratulations to James Keith, who today was named the Pac-12 Men's Basketball Scholar Athlete of the Year.
Shocking it's a guy from Stanford. But congratulations to James. It's a big honor in this conference.
Pull up, Julian Hammond.
The right decision.
The rebound.
Right decision, though. You got the switch on Mia. You don't want to attack him. He's too long. Pull up at the elbow. Just couldn't get it to go down.
All the way to the basket. And a one-point game is Keon Menefield darting in.
He's come alive here in the second half with his fellow freshman, Corin Johnson. This one's going down to the wire, no doubt.
We had an overtime in the 8-9 game last year. Can we get one here? Loose ball falls right to Lawson Lovering, who drops it in.
Bay and Mia both had it. They both let go of it and went right to Lovering for the easy layup. Huge mistake by Washington there.
Right place, right time for Lawson Lovering.
Yeah.
Run the double team, force Keon Brooks to pick up the dribble. And ripped away by Tristan Da Silva. Ethan Wright in transition.
He slowed down to dunk it. I thought was a mistake. I thought it was going to get stripped from behind or blocked from behind, but they couldn't catch up to him.
Keon Menefield answers for UW. Timeout Huskies.
But Ethan Wright was full speed, but then slowed down to go off of 2 feet, which I thought was going to be a mistake. Turned out it wasn't. And this mistake here, they get to Silva to take a tough shot. See, me and Babe, well, I guess neither of them had it, but still kind of a miscommunication, Lovering the recipient of it. See if we can watch him slow. See how he slowed down to get to 2 feet, but got away with it. Big play by Da Silva on that strip on the defensive end. See how I was saying earlier, Roxy, about how easy the game is for Menefield? Like, he doesn't get sped up. He's just good, and it's easy for him. If he was 6'5", he'd be a lottery pick this year. That's how easy the game is for him.
He was an unheralded recruit. Like, when Will Conroy went and saw him on the AAU circuit, he was like on the backcourts. He wasn't playing in the featured, quote-unquote, high-level game. He was on a team that was just kind of considered okay. And then Will Conroy saw him play, and he couldn't believe what he was watching. And because nobody was on this kid, not even the mid-major schools in the Detroit area. And he called Mike Hopkins, says, look, I found a kid. I can't believe what I'm watching. You have to come see this. And Mike Hopkins joined him for the next game, and they both fell in love with Keon Menafield.
And he was one of the leading scorers, if not the leading scorer of the EYBL 2 years ago. Nike's Elite Youth Basketball League that has all the best players in the country. So I think he was flying under the radar for a second, and then people figured out that this game is pretty easy for him, and it's going to have a good college.
Tough off balance. Career high 19 for Julian Hammond. Cole Badgerman, three is blocked, but a foul. Luke O'Brien will send Badgerman to shoot three, and Tad Boyle
Did he foul him?
Is beside himself.
Did he foul him? Let's see. It's hard to block jump shots, but I think that ball was out of his hand already.
Are we getting our first one of the tournament done?
The follow through onto the hand, but was the ball away? Did the contact on the hand affect the shot? I don't think that's a let's move on. But I'm not sure it was a foul either.
He did get a good piece of the ball.
Right. So it was the follow through. That was my point. Like, once you've already blocked it, it doesn't matter.
Badgerman 86% are now 2 for 2, and 13 for Cole Badgerman, who has been a nice spark for Mike Hopkins today. This can make it a 2-point game with 1:50 remaining.
Which defense can dig in and get a stop here? Hammond has been terrific all afternoon, but it's up to him to manage this game the last minute 40.
Cutting backdoor for the layup, and he missed. Ethan Wright, point blank.
Wow, let's remember that and see if it doesn't come back to haunt Colorado.
Badgerman crashes in a block inside the restricted area. And one for Badgerman. We're tied.
Wow. I thought Badgerman was going to try and dunk that, but the contact came before, and he just flipped it up and in. So O'Brien was in the restricted area. It looked like he was set, although he turned his shoulder into Badgerman. How about that shot going in?
Badgerman was shaken up a little bit, had to take a little walk around midcourt and come back to the foul line. And we're tied, 1:25 to go, and now the Huskies watch it rattle in and out in an 86%er.
Right. Missed layup by Wright on this end, missed free throw by Badgerman on that end. Again, let's see if that affects the outcome here coming down the home stretch. Minute 16 to go.
The season high tying 16 now for Cole Badgerman. Stick around for a Tums game break. Ashley Adamson, Matt Muehlbach, Ernie Kent getting in position courtside here at T-Mobile for our Tums game break between games.
Don't tell me Muehlbach's got his eight ball again. No, he doesn't. He's got his 8-ball again.
Does he?
I think he does.
Look at our bracket. The winner will advance to play the Pac-12 champs, UCLA, tomorrow in the first quarterfinal matchup at noon. Coming up next, the red-hot Washington State Cougars, who've won 6 in a row, led by Mohamed Gay.
They're healthy. You know, they lost a lot of close games early in the season because they were minus some guys. Right, they're minus some guys, but then they got healthy here at the end and have ripped off 6 in a row. They're the most dangerous team in this tournament, to me.
TJ Bob on a roll. Joel Brown, senior for Cal, has been playing really well down the stretch, but some tense, nervous moments. Some fans might need some tums the way this one is heading down to the wire. Tied at 66. 76 seconds remaining.
Well, I think you go back to what I've been talking about all afternoon. Run it through De Silva. Either put him in the mid post or put him at the foul line. Let's see if Washington's in man or zone. That will dictate where you can get it to De Silva, and then let him make plays. He's been making great decisions all afternoon, either for himself or setting other guys up. But I just think you have to put the ball in your best player's hands in a tie game with 1:16 to go.
Washington has one timeout left, Colorado with 2.
Washington in the zone. So now De Silva, can he get it back to that foul line area?
Tristan De Silva has it poked away, got it back. O'Brien launching. Luke O'Brien.
Not a good possession, a great possession for Colorado. And I don't know if that was the design to get De Silva out in space and to let him attack the baseline, but he got it out opposite. One more. O'Brien knocked down. Big time shot from him.
Season high tying 13 for Luke O'Brien. And with 59.8 to go, he pushes Colorado back in front.
Again, unlikely people stepping up. Like going into that timeout, I wasn't saying I bet you O'Brien's going to get this shot. And he got that shot, but you know what? He stepped up and knocked it down.
For the struggles that each team had in the first half, it was 28-20 at the half, Colorado. But the second half, both teams shook off the nervousness, which you talked about. This has been a well-played second half, and the execution down the stretch has been terrific.
Sometimes it takes you to the under 16 timeout. Sometimes it takes you a whole half to settle in. And for both teams, I feel like it did. Second half has been much better offensively for both teams, obviously.
Colorado's made their last 4 shots. The Huskies have made 4 of their last 5 as an errant pass. Nick Clifford intercepts it.
21-second differential. You don't need to foul here. You got plenty of time, but you have to get a stop if you're Washington. If they make this a 2-possession game with 20 seconds or so, it's going to be difficult for Washington to come all the way back. You're going to have to rely on missed free throws from Colorado.
Here comes De Silva. To set the screen, Julian Hammond turning around. And Julian Hammond with 21.
Player of the game, Julian Hammond. Unbelievable performance here this afternoon.
Off on the 3 is Keon Brooks. De Silva the foul. And with 18.5 seconds to go, we'll head to the other end, and the Buffs to the line.
It's as simple as guys stepping up and making plays, making shots. Started with O'Brien 3. And unfortunately, Washington couldn't answer on the other end. But Julian Hammond has been terrific today. Not only managing the game, initiating offense, getting guys involved, but getting his own as well. And a big shot there to make it a 2-possession game.
9th team fouls, so Tristan De Silva a 1-1. 75% foul shooting.
Can put it away here, make it a 3-possession game. He makes this free throw. Then it just becomes Colorado running the clock out without fouling.
Bruins await the winner tomorrow. 6 straight, now 7 in a row for Colorado to go up 7.
Don't let him shoot if you're Colorado. I wouldn't get anywhere near him.
Keon Menefield on the drive, lays it in. 13.3 to go, and Mike Hopkins last timeout.
Well, now if you're Colorado, remember all you people watching at home, this isn't the NBA. Colorado can't advance it. So their press break offense is going to have to be on point and understand that Washington's coming to get them quickly.
Take a look at our jockey difference maker, and in place of the injured, or out with an illness, I should say, KJ Simpson. Career high 21 for Julian Hammond.
Got the opportunity to play without Simpson against Utah to close the regular season and responded there. And has come in here and played lights out for Colorado. The biggest reason why Colorado's going to win this game is Julian Hammond and his game management, And the lack of turnovers, I guess is how you would say it. Only one turnover for a team that has struggled with turnovers this year. So unbelievable performance for Julian Hammond here today.
5-point Colorado lead, 13.3 to go, and there is KJ Simpson being a good teammate, out with a non-COVID illness, but cheering on his guys and supporting them here in Las Vegas. Julian Hammond's performance, along with Luke O'Brien tying a season high 13. And Colorado, who's won at least one game at the Pac-12 tournament in 10 of the last 11 tournaments.
If you're Colorado or if you're Washington, try and steal it first. Can't steal it, then you foul.
And now in the double bonus, this will be a two-shotter for Tristan DeSilva with 11.2 remaining.
A 5-point game, same game here for DeSilva. Make two, makes it a 3-possession game, probably puts it out of reach.
First foul in Langston Wilson, the senior from Upper Darby, Pennsylvania. In and out for Tristan DeSilva, and even if he makes this, it still can be a 2-possession game.
And Washington will need a 3 with only 11 seconds. Now Colorado let them score last time. I would provide a little resistance, but just make them use a little more clock before they shoot it. But Washington needs a quick 3, and then they can't stop the clock. They're going to have to set up their press quickly.
Keon Menafield short on the 3. Last touch by Ethan Wright. Huskies ball, 4.7 remaining.
That should do it.
Huskies have battled, got down by as many as 14 early, took a brief lead in the second half, and that'll be an air ball. That will do it. The Buffs will advance at the Pac-12 tournament, and the Huskies eliminated in game 1. 74-68 Colorado. Without KJ Simpson, will move on to play the Pac-12 champion UCLA Bruins.
What a terrific second half both ways. Washington came back. Colorado answered, guys making plays at the end, but Julian Hammond again, what a performance. We expected from Tristan DeSilva, but Julian Hammond in a role that he hasn't been in for most of the year, backing up KJ Simpson. No KJ Simpson, he answers with a career high